Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for your patience. Had some tech issues. This is what happens when you have unresolved trauma. The universe gives you beautiful ways to work through it. I almost failed computers in high school. Long story. Anyways, today we're going to talk about abundance. I'm looking back and forth because I'm also recording this on Zoom, and I'll link that as well because the lighting is not great on my phone, but it wouldn't stream. So we're going to talk a little bit about abundance and the codes of abundance. And I'm going to start with my story. So I'll link this photo as well below. I had a deep trauma when I was 14 in regards to money. And I grew up in an affluent family. They grew up very poor. So they had a lot of scarcity mindset, which I took on because they didn't do the inner work. And although we had abundance, I still felt deeply in scarcity, and especially after this one moment. And I'll tell you the story about when I rewrote that moment, what happened, and cleared that trauma. But after that, I started working myself to the bone. So in high school, I would get up at 5:30, figure skate, be figure skating until like 10 at night, was in all IB classes, AP classes, and I was deeply trying to show my worth. And then after that, as soon as I went to college, and came to Vancouver after that and started pursuing acting, I had this unconscious belief again that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy, I was bad if I had resources, and I couldn't be supported by the universe. So this was all a manifestation of my unconscious beliefs and my unconscious trauma. Now, I was living off of literally $25 of groceries a week, even when I was living in New York for theater school. I didn't have a bed in New York for the longest time. I literally like slept on a mat with rats and cockroaches in our apartment in Harlem, the ghetto of New York. And I got really ill. And I'm going to post some photos after. When I moved to Vancouver, I was serving at like 3 restaurants at a time. I was detailing cars. I was literally doing everything and working so many hours a day, so hard to try and make ends meet, because I didn't believe I could be supported. And in fact, I believed if I was comfortable, I was bad. And I had to work super hard and wear this badge of honor. This will relate to abundance and money in a moment here. So they're all correlated. What happened was, when I went through my Saturn return at 27, the universe literally gifted me an accident. So I lost all of my jobs, all of my income. I broke my arm rollerblading after working 2 doubles in a row. I was so fatigued. And yeah, I was doubling on Sabrina the Teenage Witch at the time, and I was working at 2 restaurants, and I had to stop all of them because I was wearing a cast. And that was the moment that I went back to source. I went back to God. I prayed for the first time in decades. I was an atheist. As a child, I would see a lot of things and I was super connected to source. But as my life went on and these layers of trauma, I started to hate source. I started to hate God, which is the divine masculine energy of the universe. So when we have these deep core wounds with source, with the masculine, we cannot receive. And it was a big part of my soul lesson. And shortly after that, I lived with my grandpa on his couch at that time because I couldn't afford food. And when I went back to work, these people that I had served at this restaurant twice gifted me a retreat. It was a big meditation retreat. I was not into meditation, and she literally just sent me $2,500. I was deeply in prayer every single day and starting to learn the rules of the universe at this time. And I was like, whoa, like what just happened? And so I went to the retreat. I dug deep into spirituality, into the energetics of the universe, still wasn't digging into my money beliefs, my core money beliefs. And that came later. But that retreat changed my life, sent me on a new path. I started studying Reiki, shamanic healing, energy healing, and I started manifesting these miracles. Literally, I moved to Cyprus in the Mediterranean to study with a healer. I did not have the money to do that. I made the choice to do it, and I was rollerblading the seawall crying and saying to myself, I am worthy, I am worthy. And literally, I got blessed again with the abundance to go to Cyprus. This is now when COVID hit. And I had no job because as soon as I went back to surfing, COVID hit right after. And I was like, again, living on my grandpa's couch. And when I made that choice, I got an acting check from a year and a half prior that I never expected. That was not a coincidence. I've had so many of these miracles. I've seen these miracles so many times with clients. And so went there, came back, and started my Reiki business. I was just doing Reiki at the time. And that started to, because I was in energetic alignment and connected to source, clients would just find me. I didn't advertise. I would go to the seawall and like meet a client, and he referred like 5 people to me. And Shoppers Drug Mart, I met one of my later premium clients, and the universe was just bringing me all of this abundance as I was so connected to my soul and my mission and source. And I want you to take this nugget: when you are connected to your mission, I know you all have pure big hearts here, and you want to have a mission of helping people. The universe will bring you the resources. The universe will bring you the resources, but it has to be about a mission that's bigger than yourself. And then I tried to go back to serving. I knew 5 minutes and I should not be here. I kept hearing, you're going to miss a timeline. You're going to miss a timeline. I didn't listen. So what happened was I kept getting injured at this job. And finally I tore my ACL and I got completely kicked out of that job. The universe took away all the ways I knew how to make money. Ironically, my Reiki business, the day after that happened, I got 4 new clients. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. What's going on? And then the timeline that I was going to miss later came in. I have a story on YouTube or my podcast you can watch about healing my eye, and I manifested the abundance to pick up and leave, and I healed my eye at this meditation retreat. And then went to Costa Rica, literally manifested a $3,000 place there for $300. And it was like the universe literally just kept providing. Although I still had all these distortions about money. And this is what I see so commonly. So there was a point where I met an ex-partner in Costa Rica at the airport, and I ended up living with him on Miami Beach. Now that was an abusive relationship. And what happened was there was a point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't have resources. I walked out of his place with my dog, my one bag that I picked up and left Canada with, and I had no place to stay. And I started again connecting to source, connecting to my soul and asking for guidance. And I manifested a place to stay, a beautiful crypto mansion. These people messaged me. I had met them, 3 of the owners of this place, in the weirdest, most synchronistic ways. And they said, hey, we're going to Puerto Rico. Can you feed the fish while we're gone for 2 weeks? And I was like, I need a place to stay. Absolutely. And so it was like these miracles after miracles after miracles. But I knew in that moment, I need to figure out this money thing, because I was so afraid of money, and I never wanted to rely or feel like I needed to rely on anybody else. I never wanted to feel like I needed to rely on a partner, on an investment. My investments tanked during COVID, and I pulled them at a huge loss. And so I was literally like living people say paycheck to paycheck, but mostly like client to client. Like I was manifesting clients there. And so that's when I started digging into abundance work. And I found a teacher, and I went through an initiation after initiation after initiation. And I deeply learned the laws of the universe, and I implemented them. And my life started to change. My business that I incorporated 2 years ago, everyone called me crazy. We made $89,000 in the first year. We 2.5x that this year. All the time I was traveling, I was investing in myself, in my skills, and I was changing hundreds of people's lives, and it was all in soul alignment. So I'm going to share the biggest things that I see when I work with people on abundance, that I've seen. And I have an abundance course. And if you guys are interested, I have a course coming up starting August 15th on surrendering into sacred union with source and really connecting to source and ultimately calling in a beloved if that's what you want. But the first beloved is God. And I say this coming, I just shared nuggets of my story from being an atheist. And I will say, when I started to surrender to source and the lessons of the soul, that's when my life changed. That's when the miracles really deeply started to happen. And from a money perspective, because we're all here wanting, desiring abundance. And I never want to see anybody feel like they need to rely on a partner who is abusive, or they need to rely on an investor who wants them to give over their body, or they need to rely on a job that's not in soul alignment. Because I get it, and I've been there, and it fucking sucks. And you don't need to do that. It's soul entrapment. And you will make so much more abundance and so much more money in soul alignment. I promise you, I am the living embodiment and transmission of this. My clients had so many miracles, $200,000 weeks out of the blue, $20,000 manifest out of nowhere. You can look at the testimonials on Jill Alana testimonials on Instagram. There's a bunch of video testimonials on there as well as on my website, jillalanainternational.com. Anyways, this work works for everybody. It doesn't just work for a few special souls. It works for everybody. And the biggest things I see and that I had to confront in myself is most people are afraid of money. They're afraid of talking about money. They're shame about money. They don't want to look at their bank account. I get it. I've been there. I used to have anxiety attacks looking at my bank account, thinking, how am I going to pay for food? This is why I lived off $25 of groceries. This is why I was like so ill. And like, I ended up in the hospital, actually. I'll post a photo after. And I've seen so many mirrors of stories like this. And this is the core reason that I like teaching about abundance. And I have been way too quiet for way too long. I've helped people that have come to me, but now it's time to share this story with more people. So are you afraid of money? Money is a relationship. It's an entity. It's a being of itself. It's a frequency. So if we're afraid of it, it's like a partner. Would you want to be in a relationship with somebody who's afraid of you? No. So money doesn't want to be with you if you're afraid of it. So we have to heal that wound. And that's the deep wound with the masculine, with the Father, with God, with any man who has not provided for us, not been there, not protected us. Money is a protector and provider. When I did my deep healing with the Father, I manifested $25,000 the next day in sales in my business. Up to that point, the biggest month was 5K. This is the depth of this work. God, money, men, it's all the same. It's all the same energy. So how we're relating to men in our life, and this goes for, or the masculine energy, this goes for men as well, is how we're relating to that energy of provision from source. This is how we create miracles in money, in business, in relationship, and opportunities. This is the source. I also see people trying to call in money because they need it. Oh my goodness, I need to pay my bills. Firstly, the feminine energy of money, because everything's yin and yang, the feminine energy of money does not like to just be used for bills. We need to create energetic containers that inspire us. And then we create overflow to pay the bills. Yes, we get the bills paid, but we don't call it in from that need. No client wants to work with you, loves, if you need them. That is really repelling energy. It's like a needy girlfriend or a needy boyfriend that's like, I need. And you're like, oh, get away. Like, no. They work with people that they know, love, and trust, and that have had similar journeys and know how to guide them out of it, and that have a skill set that can guide them out of it. Okay. So for those of you starting out here, I really encourage you to get a skill set. I'm trained in 13, soon to be 14 modalities, and I've created my own. You are the best investment you will make at the beginning of your business, throughout your business. Your business is the direct reflection of you. So it's like, when we're calling in abundance, whether that's through a client or that's through a business deal, or that's through a miracle, or that's through a gift. I shared the gift of when these people each transferred me $2,500, I barely knew them. And at that point, I could barely afford rent. I had just come back, just started working again, come back from the island from sleeping on my grandpa's couch. And a miracle happened. These miracles are so possible, and I've seen them time and time again when we're connected to source. But if we're wanting to call in these miracles, we have to be in the energy of abundance. We have to be in the energy of inspiration, inspire, spirit moving through you. So it's like a dude being like, hey, I want to date you, but I want you to come and cook and clean and organize and do all of this stuff and like not enjoy life. And you're like, yeah, you can do all that stuff too. That's like the bills, like the internet bill and the rent bill and all the things. But like, if a dude's like, oh, like I just want to be around you because you're essence. I want to take you on a trip. I want to watch the sunset with you. The feminine energy is like, yes, pleasure, yes. Same thing with money. So we need to create these energetic containers that also fill our soul, whether that is going on a vacation or taking a massage or something that inspires you to have that energy move through you to create. So for myself, I'm always like, I want to go on this retreat, or I want to go to this place. Okay, how can I call in abundance to do that and gonna pay my bills and gonna pay my teams and gonna pay for the back end stuff of my business? And that, my loves, creates miracles. That's my dog coughing. When I healed the mother wound, the magnetism, because our feminine energy, male or female, that we call money in through is our magnetic energy. When I healed the wound with being in my feminine and being heart-centered, I literally manifested a $38,000 month. I think it was 15 months into my business. So this core healing is so important. Creating a new relationship with money is so important. How can you start to love money? How can you start to appreciate what it does for you? Money is neutral. And there's a paradigm out there that is like, money's bad, money's wrong. I'm bad if I have money. I've had all of those, and that only kept me trapped. The last piece that I will leave with you today is soul entrapment. The moment we think our abundance comes from a particular job, a particular client, a particular investment, a particular inheritance, a particular channel, you miss the source. You are the source. Source is the source. The universe put me in many situations to show me the proof, even before I had understood or studied the energetic laws of abundance, of wealth, so that I had embodied experience of, whoa, my abundance doesn't just come from my serving jobs. It's the only way I knew how to make money, that and side hustles and the odd acting job. It doesn't just come from, if my family gave me a gift, or if I was dating a dude who was providing for me. It doesn't just come from a certain investment. Like I said, my investments tanked at that time. And I put basically all of my money into them because I was so scared. As I said, spending $25 on groceries, any surplus that wasn't that, even if it was just like $80, $100, I would put it into the market, and then the market tanked, and I was like, holy shit. We have to understand that it comes from source, because the moment we rely on any of these other things, we're trapped, and we do things that are out of integrity. We take on clients that we are not the person that is supposed to help that, because we don't necessarily have that skill set and niche. Somebody asked me the other day, somebody wants me to do something that I'm not trained in. A client wants help with this. What do I do? I said, in that case, I refer them to other people. I filled clients' rosters with clients that wanted to work with me. And I'm like, actually, you're better to work with this person. I filled their teachings. So like, we have to get that it's a win-win always. There's more to go around. And it's these core wounds with the masculine energy, with the feminine energy, with God, with source, with our parents, with society, this programming that is keeping you trapped in this enslavement. Even the perception that I need to get my clients from social media, that's an entrapment. Can they come from there? Yes. Have I got clients from there? Yes. And I will say most of my clients are referrals. Most of my clients I meet in the most random ways. Most of my clients have not necessarily been from social media. I had a full roster of clients before I ever started advertising what I do on social media. So you are the source, my loves. Your relationship with money, with abundance, is what is creating the lack or the abundance in your life. In your life, that's it. So you have the power to rewrite this story. If you're interested, I'll link Surrendering to Sacred Union with Source below. There's already a father healing activation in there. It's super powerful. I've done it numerous times. Same thing if you're calling in like a partner that is really the same partner in a different body, it's because you have an imprint in your field. If you're looking to do just like the universal laws specifically for abundance, I have an abundance course. It was closed. I opened it just for this. It is called Attuning to Infinite Abundance. That was my first money course. We've had many miracles from the people in the course. You can check out the testimonial videos on the page. It'll be open for the next week. And I also have a free abundance activation that I'll link below as well. Okay, I love you. My loves, my loves, my loves. Keep following your soul passion. Keep tuning in. Keep asking, what is my mission here on this planet? Because your mission, your soul mission, guys, this is so important. Your gifts, the things that you love doing. For me, obviously, is energy work and teaching energy work and manifestation and abundance and sacred union. And I also help people get rid of dark forces. Don't talk about that too much, but that is another thing that I do. I love what I do, and it has been the highest form of abundance. Your highest form of abundance is directly correlated to your soul mission and your gifts that only you have, that only you have. Only you have. And so ask your soul, ask source, what do I love doing? I had a download not too long ago, and it was like, what do I know? There's so many ideas I got. Like, what should I create? What should I focus on? There's all these opportunities. And what I heard was, spirit will support you where the energy is. In spirit, inspired. Where are you inspired? That is where spirit supports you. Okay. Love you, my loves. I'll link the stuff below. I'll link a photo from before. And yeah, DM me if you have any questions. I'm so excited to see what you create.